My name is Finch. I moved into a new apartment 3 months ago. It was a quiet building. The building was peaceful. My life was simple and calm. I liked the peace, but my neighbor's life was not peaceful. My neighbors were a young couple. They lived together. Their apartment was next to mine. The walls were very thin. I heard everything. The walls were weak. I did not want to hear it, but I could not stop the sounds. I heard a man's voice. It was always loud and angry. He shouted often. I heard a woman's voice. It was always quiet and sad. She sounded hurt. I heard them fighting almost every night. The man shouted. The woman cried. Sometimes I heard the sound of something breaking. Things broke. I saw the woman sometimes in the hallway. Her name was Riley. She was young and very beautiful. She looked nice, but her eyes were always sad. They were like two dark, empty pools. Her eyes showed pain. She never smiled. She always looked down at the floor. She never looked at me. She tried to be invisible. She wanted to hide. She wore long sleeves even on hot days. I knew why. One day I saw a dark bruise on her arm. She was hurt. She quickly pulled her sleeve down. My heart felt a deep sadness for her. I wanted to help, but what could I do? I was a stranger. She did not know me. It was not my business. So I did nothing. I just listened to the sad sounds through the wall. I felt helpless. She had a secret behind her sad eyes. Her husband was a monster. I knew I had to save her. I wanted to help. One night the fight was very bad. It was the worst I had ever heard. The man, Kevin, was shouting for a long time. He shouted loudly. I heard Riley crying. I heard a loud crash. Then there was silence. It was quiet. A terrible, heavy silence. I was so worried I almost called the police. But I was scared. I felt fear. Maybe it would make things worse for her. I did not sleep that night. I just listened to the silence. I waited. The next morning I was leaving for work. I opened my door. Riley was in the hallway. She was there. She was walking to the stairs. She was moving very slowly, like she was in pain. Her face was pale. She looked weak. She had a dark bruise on her cheek. She tried to hide it with her hair, but I could see it. My heart broke. I felt sad. I could not be silent anymore. I said her name softly. Riley? She jumped. She was afraid. She was very scared. She did not look at me. She just wanted to run away. She wanted to leave. I spoke in a very quiet voice. I said, "Are you okay?" "I am your neighbor, Finch. I live next door. I live beside you." She did not answer. She just stood there, shaking a little. I said, "I hear the fighting." I told her, "I am very worried about you. If you ever need help, I am here. You are not alone." I wanted her to feel safe. Tears started to run down her face. She did not make a sound. She just cried. She was very sad. For the first time, she looked at me. Her sad eyes were full of a deep, terrible pain. She whispered, Her voice was small. Her voice was so quiet, I could barely hear it. She said, "He hits me, Finch." She told me the truth. He is not always a bad man, but when he gets angry, he hits me. I am so scared of him. Her words were simple, but they were the heaviest words in the world. Her words were heavy. My sadness turned into a cold anger, an anger for the man who hurt her. I said, "You do not have to live like this. I wanted her free. You can leave. You can be safe." She shook her head. She said no. She whispered, "I have nowhere to go. I have no money. He controls everything." She had nothing. I made a decision in that moment. I would help her. I said, "You have me. I promised help. I will help you." We made a secret plan, a plan for her escape. She would run away. Kevin was going on a business trip in 2 days. He would be gone for the whole weekend. That was our chance. It was the time. I gave her my phone number. I told her to call me when he was gone. The next 2 days were very long. The wait was hard. I was so nervous. I listened to the silence through the walls. I hoped she was okay. I wished her safety. On Friday evening, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Riley. It had only one word now. It was the signal. I went to her apartment. I knocked softly on the door. She opened it. She was ready. She was pale and scared, but her eyes had a small spark of hope. We had to be fast. We packed one small bag for her. She took little, just the most important things. Some clothes, her documents, a small picture of her mother. She looked around her beautiful apartment. She was leaving it. It was a golden cage. She was leaving it all behind. She was choosing freedom. She chose a new life. We left the building together. We were very quiet. Every small noise made us jump. We were nervous. We got into my car. I drove away from that building. I drove away from her old life. We left it behind. I took her to a safe place. It was a women's shelter in another town. The women there were kind. They helped her. They gave her a clean room and warm food. She was safe. The next few weeks I visited her every day. I stayed close. At first, we did not talk much. I just brought her coffee and a newspaper. I wanted her to know she was not alone. She had me. Slowly, she started to talk. She told me her story. She told me about Kevin. She shared her pain. She told me about her broken dreams. Dreams of love, safety, and family. Dreams that were crushed by pain. I listened quietly. I did not interrupt. I let her speak. Slowly, with each word, she began to heal. The fear in her eyes started to fade. Her shoulders were not so heavy. Her voice grew a little stronger. She was getting braver. She was getting stronger. The sadness was still there. It did not vanish in a day, but it was lighter now, not so heavy. Sometimes she even smiled. Her smile was small but bright like a candle. It was a fragile light, but it was beautiful. That little smile meant everything to me. It was a sign of hope, a sign that she was coming back to life. Our friendship grew slowly, gently, softly. It turned into something deeper. It became love. Not a loud, rushing love, but a quiet, careful love. A love that healed instead of hurt. A love that was soft and kind. This love was built on trust. It was built on safety. I was no longer just her neighbor. I was her best friend. And I was falling in love with her. Not in a hurry, not in a rush, but deeply, quietly, and with my whole heart. Months passed, and time changed everything. Riley went to court. She got a divorce from Kevin. At last, she was free. Free from his control. Free from his anger. Free to breathe her own air again. She found a small job at a flower shop. She worked with roses, tulips, and lilies, flowers that smelled of new beginnings. She rented a tiny apartment. It wasn't big, but it was hers. It was her safe place. She was building a new life step by step. She was starting fresh. One day I asked her to marry me. I did not plan a big speech. I just spoke from my heart. Her eyes filled with tears, but this time they were not sad tears. They were happy, shining tears. She whispered yes, and that one word made my world complete. We married quietly. The wedding was small. Only a few friends joined us. It wasn't grand. It wasn't fancy. But it was ours. And it was the happiest day of my life. Our new life was peaceful. There was no shouting, no slamming doors, no fear in the night. Our home was filled with laughter. It was filled with gentle voices. It was filled with joy. Riley changed with time. The sad, scared woman was gone. She became a strong woman, a woman who smiled often, a woman who laughed without fear, a woman who was finally happy. She learned how to laugh again. Her laugh was loud and bright. It rang through every room. It filled our small house with life. Her laugh was like music. It was the sound of freedom. At night, sometimes, the bad dreams returned. She would cry softly in her sleep. I held her close. I whispered that she was safe. I promised she would never be hurt again. And slowly, she would rest. One evening, we sat in our little living room. The lamp was soft. The tea was warm. The moment was peaceful. She looked at me with her bright eyes full of love, not sadness. She said, "Finch, I never knew what a home was. I thought it was a big, fancy apartment, but I was wrong." She placed her hand gently on mine. "Home is not a place," she whispered. "Home is a feeling. It is the feeling of being safe. It is love. You are my home, Finch." Her words touched me deeper than anything ever had. They were a gift greater than any treasure. I had saved her from a bad man, but she had saved me too, saved me from a lonely, empty life. We had saved each other. Together, we built a new world, a world of peace, a world of safety, a world of quiet, simple love. And that world was enough. It was everything. Thanks for watching. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep learning with me.